In this video, I am starting the next weekly reading vlog, or should I say recent reads. I haven't figured out if I'm going to change that title or not. I literally just closed up the last vlog, grabbed the books that I plan to tackle this coming week, and sat down again. So we're getting to the point where I'm looking at the number of books that I have left and wondering, based on my pace of reading, if I'm going to be able to finish them. So the audiobook from now until the end of the month, Way of Kings. I've already talked about my current thoughts on this at the end of the last vlog, so I won't say any more about that here. Physical books. So this is Sunday. I don't know if I'll finish this. If I don't finish this on Sunday, I'll finish it pretty quickly on Monday. This is Dragon Song by Anne McCaffrey. As far as the other physical books that I hope to get to, I'm gonna hope to get to these two, Saint and Siren Queen. I have 2 other books left on my September TBR, I believe, which is a nonfiction one that I'm forgetting the title of, as well as A Brightness Long Ago by Guy Gavriel Kay. Those are the ones coming up. I'm hoping to finish Veil. That's the other thing that I'm moving my way through, that massive nonfiction. So I hope to dedicate more time to that this week. I literally just looked over behind the camera and saw another book that's on my TBR. And that is a memoir, How I Shed My Skin. I'll be getting to that. And then Saint and Siren Queen. Probably have really high expectations for what I can accomplish. I need to get better about not spending as much time, say, on the computer or putzing around doing random stuff. As much as I love watching BookTube, it does take away from my time to read. So that is something that I hope to work on. The other thing that I hope to do this week, and I might bring you along in my process of setting it up, is setting my October TBR. In the coming weeks, I'm going to start possibly putting up 3 videos a week instead of 2, because there are some ideas, like some tags and other smaller videos that I would like to do, like maybe breaking up my unboxings in future months so that they're closer to when they come out and etc. But that is going up the Saturday at the end of this vlog, so you'll probably see me going through the process, because I am not doing a readathon for October. Wow, that's actually pretty incredible, because there was something in March, and then in April it was not Questathon. Questathon was July, and June was Whatever-a-thon, and August was Magical Readathon. Magical Readathon in April as well, and now Bookopoly. See, I've lost track of all the different readathons that I've done. Realmathon, that was the other one. Okay. Anyway, I've done a bunch of different readathons, so since I don't do spooky season stuff, I'm going to be coming up with the readathon. The readathon? The TBR on my own. And I have plans for going forward so that I can still use this and meet my goals, make progress in my goals. So that is the plan. I am going to go upload this footage so that I can get some more reading time, because I got work to do, and if I stand any chance of finishing my September TBR, I need to get moving. Okay, so you are getting an update from the classroom because we have open house. I don't understand the point of open house. I really don't, especially this far into the school year. It's the 6th week of school. Also, I don't understand the point of it for high school. I don't get it. You want to learn about the school? We'll do it at the beginning. Like the last day of teacher workday, we had the new students come in. Let the teachers come in then. Not the teachers. Let the parents come in then. Why do we have to stay extra? I ended up switching my run because I was going to do speed work. I know I'm going to do speed work on Tuesdays, but my legs were tired, and I was also trying to figure out how to fit it in. And I'm just like, I can get it a mile in between when school gets out and when this starts. So that's what I did. It was very hot and annoying, but that's life in the South. Also a very cityfied section, like not a lot of trees and cover, but got that done, and was planning to get a few other things done during this time. But I went over to my content partner to ask her about the upcoming unit and how she was structuring it, because this is my first time through this particular curriculum, and she ended up talking to me for a while. I totally get it. She needed to vent. That was just time that I was going to do something else with, and we're about to start it. And because I teach freshmen, I will have some parents come by. Oh, this is a reading vlog. I just realized I should update my reading. I finished Dragon Song, at least I think that's the name. I don't have the book with me. I really enjoyed it. It's definitely a style that you don't see a lot typically now, but I really enjoyed it, and how Manoli, the main character, how her character grew throughout it, and how she responded when there were people who treated her with compassion, because her parents, her own parents, didn't. They looked down on what she wanted to do. I thought that was really great. If it had been printed how books are typically printed now, it probably would have been longer than the 170-ish pages that it was. It was a very short novel, not a novella, but on that line. So it did take me a little bit longer. I have Veil with me. I was planning to do some reading now-ish, but with the thing about to start, probably not going to. I'm really enjoying Way of Kings. That's my audiobook. I've finished part 1, and part 1 was just Kaladin and Shallan's perspectives. With a little bit, no, in part 2, you start to get Dalinar and Adolin's perspectives. I haven't gotten to Shallan's perspective again in part 2, but I'm really intrigued with how Sanderson is building up this world, how we're learning more about the magic and more about the politics, and this just already feels like a masterpiece, and I am barely 20% in. So that'd be about 200 pages. I keep wondering if it's gonna top Mistborn for me, because I really love the Mistborn series, but I'm gonna give it time, and it's got lots of time. Okay, so coming to you on Thursday evening, I have not had a lot to update about. My reading has been a bit sluggish. It's in a bit of a lull. I'm still moving through both Veil and The Way of Kings. Obviously, I'm fully loving and enjoying Way of Kings so much more than Veil. I really need to devote more time to Way of Kings if I want to finish it this month, because I was mapping out the time, like the days. Yeah. So speaking of time, my reading has been off this week for 2 reasons. One, because honestly, the rest of the books on my TBR don't really excite me all that much. Like, I'm interested in them, but like when I went to pick something up, I'm like, I don't care what I read next. So I'm not feeling particularly motivated about any of them. I'm not really sure what book I'm motivated to read right now. Obviously, I want to keep reading, and I guess some people would call it a reading slump. It's not a reading slump for me because I'm still reading a lot. So that's part of it. And the other part is just, I think the reason I wouldn't say that I'm in a reading slump is just because life has been so busy this week. And for an introvert like myself, having something like the open house on Tuesday where it was a full day, got to work at 8, didn't leave until 7:30. That was 11 and a half hours of interacting with people. Well, I mean, part of the time I was working in my room, but basically I was on work mode for 11 and a half hours straight. And for me, that's incredibly draining. And then Wednesday, we get an email. Oh, we have a United Way kickoff meeting. I love what the United Way provides. I think it's fantastic. I think it's needed for the students. I just find it a little bit hypocritical that they're trying to get so much money out of educators when they're meeting a gap caused by underfunding of education. Also, like jeans, that was one of the prizes. Donate a certain amount and you can wear jeans an extra day of the week. Okay. My jeans are fine. I don't really wear my jeans anymore because I don't like how they fit me and they're not comfortable. So why would I wear them? Anyway, I'm rambling. But then everyone was just like, wait, we have to stay after school again. And granted, it wasn't long, but still just piling on. It just feels like a lot this week. For someone like me, the idea of just having this stuff just pile and pile and pile and pile, and that's part of school. learning how to manage it, getting better at that for me, you know, the whole idea of quiet quitting. So I think that's part of what's bleeding into the fact that I'm not particularly motivated for any of my books. Another bookish note that was kind of cool, I don't know how it came up, but in one of my classes, my honors class, the fact that I have a channel came up and I mentioned it and they're like, oh yeah, really? What's it about? And I told them it was books. And of course, this is the honors class, so some of these kids really like books. And one of the girls went over and was perusing my shelves that I have in there, and she found my Six of Crows. And she asked me if I'd read it, and I'm like, yeah, it was my first introduction to the Grishaverse. She's like, really? You read this one first? Like, yeah, I read it kind of out of order. And then I said something about being disappointed about Rule of Wolves, and she's like, I know, and I bought it in hardback. I'm like, yes, bookish people unite. Okay, welcome back. Same position as yesterday. I don't have any real reading update because I'm still working through the same books. I'm close enough to finishing Veil that I might read about, I don't know, a little bit Saturday and Sunday to try to finish it so I can work on something else through the week next week, but I haven't decided. Definitely still working through Way of Kings, really enjoying it. I just realized I was going to try to do more Way of Kings tonight. I still might. What I'm planning to do right now is something that I mentioned at the beginning of the vlog, and that is starting to get things ready for my new way of picking my TBR, especially on months where I don't have a readathon. Only reason this is full is because I had to take it home. So what I've done is I have gone through different things. So this page is all of my arcs that I have on NetGalley and need to read to get that percentage up, because since July I haven't really read many arcs because I've just been trying to get my TBR set, and I don't really remember what arcs I have. And then this page is half nonfiction that I got at the book sale, and then also fiction that's on my TBR cart. And this also is fiction on my TBR cart, if I remember that correctly. The plan is, at the very least, oh, I remember another part of the bottom. So there's fiction on both on my TBR cart, but then also this bottom section is series. So I still obviously want to get through my series, and I need to update this because I've started some series this year and haven't updated it lately. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these out and I'm going to put them into little cups. And so at the beginning of TBR videos, I'm going to pick certain numbers from certain cups to build my TBR. My battery is blinking, so I have to replace that, and I will be back with B-roll of me making this.
I've been out of my head, can't get out of bed. Too much on my brain, but got it good, can't complain. It's like I'm losing my mind, and time's hard to find. What's a girl gotta do to catch a break up? When life tries to test me, I take it one day at a time. 'Cause I was crying yesterday, but look at me today. It has been so long since I wrote a sad song. Sunshine on my face, I'm feeling okay. Nothing's in my way. I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. I put a dress on today, I don't care what you say. And I'm ignoring my phone, so don't try to reach me. I can't do nothing for you, so don't ask, I ain't coming through. 'Cause I'm running away to my own world, that's where I'll stay. When life
one page, and that took me slightly longer than I expected, and I also just want to go read and maybe get some more time on... I keep pointing back there because that's where I sit and read and cross-stitch, and that's when I listen to my audiobooks. So that's when I'll be listening to Way of Kings. So that's my Way of Kings spot. Anyway, I did one of the pages that I have here. It doesn't actually take all that long. It's not what I'm in the mood for right now. So I decided, I knew I was going to use some of those bowls that I get in the different bookish boxes. And I decided I have 3 bowls. Well, I just realized there's 4 different things. Anyway, I'm going to use the 3 Lord of the Rings bowls that I have so far. I keep them on the shelf behind me in my filming location. So this right now has all of my NetGalley arcs. So when I film my October TBR, I'll shuffle through here and pick some arcs. I'll talk more about numbers and stuff then. For now, I'm gonna get reading. So it is now Saturday. I do have some updates. So I finally finished Veil, and while I really wouldn't recommend it to a lot of people, and it probably will end up getting just like a 3-star rating from me, I'm glad that I have it, that I own it, and that I read it. I really appreciate the way that Bob Woodward went through the story of what was happening in the CIA during these years, 1981 to 1987. He was actively doing the research. Investigative journalism feels like a lot. It seems like a lot to me. And Bob Woodward has been doing it for decades. Ever since he made his name with All the President's Men under the Nixon administration. And I can't even imagine, like, he's been writing these books and doing this investigative journalism since the 70s, since the Nixon administration. And he's done it all the way up through the most recent administration, because I was going to pull up Rage, which is his most recent one about the past administration, but it's at the bottom of the pile because I went through and I organized them by chronological order. But back to this one. I've mentioned before that it's really enlightening to me to learn about this time period, because the environment that I grew up in idolized Reagan. I grew up believing that he was the best president, or one of the best presidents. While I believe he had a lot more skill as a politician than the previous president, not before him, but before currently, there are a lot of similarities that I didn't realize. There's something I talked about in here because one of the fixations of the CIA during this time period was Muammar Gaddafi, who was the leader of Libya, the dictator of Libya. And Muammar Gaddafi was not unseated and then assassinated until 2011 during the Arab Spring. This is 1981 and 1987. Bob Woodward talks about some statements that, like, he knows for sure were made. Because one of the things that he does, I'll come back to Gaddafi. One of the things that he does in here, if it's in actual quotes, if he puts quotation marks around it, it's something he knows was said. If he puts the statement in there without quotes, he's fairly certain that it was said, but he can't verify it. So he's letting you know he can't verify that these were the exact words. In actual quotes, he has a quote from Reagan. So Bill Casey, the leader of the CIA during this time, it was a meeting where they were there and talking about Gaddafi and sort of making fun of him for his more effeminate traits, which I didn't know was a thing until I read this. But like, Reagan said something about he's welcome to go raid Nancy's closet. Why, as the president of the United States, are you making such juvenile jokes? I finished that this morning. I'm glad I read it. It's very dense. Obviously, it took me over 2 weeks to finish, but I did get it done. And so that means that I picked up Siren Queen. This is just the dust jacket because I've already taken it off. I'm really enjoying it. I haven't read that much yet, but one of the things that I do know about it is that it verges more on magical realism than fantasy or history. And so I'm really intrigued by Nevo's writing, and I'm really captivated by the way that she's telling the story. I am only 31 pages in, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sit back, relax, read some more, hopefully finish this book, and I will probably start How I Shed My Skin, which is a memoir. I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish my September TBR this month, but we shall see.
So long since I wrote a sad song, sunshine on my face. I'm feeling okay, nothing's in my way. I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. Nothing ever stays the same. There's always room for better days. Now I know how to live life with a smile on my face.
So I just finished Siren Queen. I don't know what to say about it really. I think Nevo has beautiful writing. Absolutely beautiful writing. I'm gonna put it down. Currently you're actually resting on top of the book, which is why I'm not holding it up. I think the story is fascinating, but not right for me. I didn't find myself as put off by the malleability of the magic in here. It's a sort of old Hollywood that's fantastical, but yet real. Nothing is ever really explained. Bits of magic come in and out and make their appearances, but never really stay. Nothing really ever gets explained. Comes around twice, even. It's very existential and could be confusing. I see the point that Nevo is making with this. I think that the plot was beautiful. I understood the development of the character. Lily felt like a very real person to me, but it's just not the book for me. I don't have anything bad to say about it. I think it's a beautiful book. It's just not the book for me, unfortunately. I think I will hold on to it though, because it's such a beautifully written book. I don't know that I'll pick up more from Nevo, but this was actually the first of the TBR books that I got, the tailored book recommendations. And I had mentioned in my profile that I wanted to stretch my reading taste just a little bit. That's where I was on the spectrum, not fully in the genres that I love. Just push that boundary a little bit. And this book did exactly that. Kudos to that bibliologist who made up that those set of recommendations. I enjoyed my read. It was a quick and fairly easy read, beautiful read. It's just not the book for me, unfortunately. Next, I'm going to change tones a lot and more into a memoir. Yeah, I do like that.
I've been out of my head, can't get out of bed. Too much on my brain, but got it good, can't complain. It's like I'm losing my mind, and time's hard to find. What's a girl gotta do to catch a break? Oh, when life tries to test me, I take it one day at a time. 'Cause I was crying yesterday, but look at me today. It has been so long since I wrote a sad song, sunshine on my face. I'm feeling okay, nothing's in my way.
I have a confession to make. I went book shopping. Yeah, so my dad and I went to lunch/supper downtown, and we went and we got some ice cream, and we were just walking so that we could eat our ice cream before we got back to the car. And the local bookstore, the one that my Libro FM dollars and bookshop.org profits or whatever go to, I looked over and I'm like, I want to go. I joked while we were in there, and I had a stack about this big. He should have stopped me, that this is getting dangerous. It was hilarious. There was somebody else in there who just started cracking up. So there is one book in here that, no, there is one book not in here that I did buy, but it was a gift for Dad for his birthday and for you know, putting up with it. I mean, his birthday is beginning of August, so long time ago. I showed some restraint, not much. I'm gonna go ahead and take them out so I can decide the order that I am going to go over these. There's also another book that I am not going to show because it is a birthday gift. I don't think the person watches my channel, but if they do, just in case. There's one that I will have to admit right away, one set that I went back and forth on multiple times. And finally I'm like, I keep coming back, so I have to get these. And that is Vicious and Vengeful and the entire A Darker Shade of Magic trilogy. Yeah, I got all of those. So the first book that caught my eye was actually Beartown by Fredrik Backman. This may be the actual first book by Fredrik Backman that I read. I know it's a difficult but really compelling read. People whose reading taste I tend to vibe with have really liked this. That also, the fact that I have the 2 Schwab series means I need to add 2 series to my little series jar back there. Speaking of series, I got Winter for the Lunar Chronicles. I am just missing Cress. That's the only one I need from that. I also got When Women Were Dragons by Kelly Barnhill. I loved The Girl That Drank the Moon so much, and I heard pretty good things about it, and it has above a 4-star rating. Okay, I'll admit, when I saw this, I had to get it because I said I didn't have this version. I also, when I saw this, I knew I had to get this because I love Lore Olympus, and I read it the first time as a library book, and I wasn't going to pay the amount for the Illumicrate. Once they go out, they get ridiculously expensive. So this is paperback, while the Illumicrate is hardcover. I've heard really good things about Beasts of Prey, and I actually believe that I have the arc to the second book in the series, so I needed the first one. And then, of course, I've been saying that I need to read Tristan Strong, so I got this one. They had the third one there, but it was just in hardcover. And as much as I say that I don't care, I do. I'm a little on the neurotic side when it comes to that. So I don't have the third one yet. I plan to get it when I find it in paperback. Last, but certainly not least, Amari and the Night Brothers. I saw this, not a bit of hesitation. That is how I spent my Sunday afternoon. Not reading, buying books. So you could probably tell through this vlog where I was just working my way through 2 massive books, Veil and Way of Kings, that there aren't going to be very many books that I have, you know, for finishing this week, and that's totally fine. Totally fine. I still read some quality stuff. I'm excited about what I read, and I went book shopping, and I'm really excited about these books. Too bad I'm not going to get to them in the next month. But if I finish the other stuff on my TBR for September, maybe I'll pick up one of them. Who knows? Thanks so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one.